everybody. Thank you for joining us. We are coming at you live from the Great Pocono Raceway Airshow here at the Pocono Raceway in Long Pond in the beautiful Pocono Mountains. I'm Brianna Strunk.
And I'm Chris Barrett for the Pocono Television Network.
Chances are, if you are watching this, you are not making your way out to the airshow, as it just started a few moments ago from 1:30 in the afternoon to 3:30. But guess what? You're in luck. The show continues again tomorrow, Sunday, August 22nd, and it's the same great show, just over 2 days. So you can find the schedule and get your tickets on PoconoAirShow.com. This is such an exciting weekend here in the Pocono Mountains, but it's also a solemn one as well.
Yes, Brianna, and one of the things that we really have to talk about right at the top of the broadcast is that we lost a friend. One of the pilots from the GEICO Skytypers, Andrew Travinchek, we call him Andy Trav, great man. There's 6 pilots who were going to perform here today. They could not because of the death of Andy. We just want to say that for the whole team at the GEICO Skytypers, and also for Andy's family, our deepest condolences. And you know, one of the things, one of the reasons why the Skytypers do what they do, the GEICO Skytypers, is because they want to keep the memory of all the thousands and thousands of pilots that served in World War II alive. And if it sparks that memory for anyone and they want to learn more, that was their mission. So Andy will be a missing formation today. But again, we want to say condolences to his family, and we also want to say we're sorry to the GEICO Skytypers who we got to know over the last 2 days, and they're great people.
Yes, unfortunately, Andy and the GEICO Skytypers, of course, they will not be here today. Andy passed away yesterday during a practice flight in anticipation for the air show today. So again, our condolences with his family. And the Pocono Raceway, of course, this was a difficult decision for them to decide whether to continue holding the air show or to cancel it. They decided in conjunction with the GEICO Skytypers to continue holding the air show this weekend. But of course, all of the performances are being done in Andy's memory.
That's right. And that was a hard decision to make, but it was something that Andy and the Skytypers would have really wanted. But you know, one of the things we really want to talk about is what's really happening here today and what will be happening tomorrow, right, Brianna?
That's right. And the headlining act is the United States Air Force Thunderbirds. They will be performing here today and again tomorrow. So we really want to show you an up-close bird's eye view of what the pilots are experiencing when they're up in the skies. So take a look at their point of view.
Good afternoon, Pennsylvania fans. This is Major Kyle Oliver, Thunderbird 6, the opposing solo with your United States Air Force Thunderbirds. I just wanted to remind you we'll be in Long Pond this August 21st and 22nd for the Great Pocono Raceway Airshow. For tickets and more information, visit PoconoAirShow.com and can't wait to see you there.
Wow, there you have it. Some amazing sights, what the pilots here today are experiencing from up in the air. Of course, it's a different point of view from what everyone's experiencing in the grandstand seating, although that's a great view as well.
It sure is. And that's one good thing about the Pocono Raceway and viewing an air show. There isn't a bad seat in the house. But you know, Brianna, we were at the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton Airport when the Thunderbirds landed. And we're going to come back and talk a little bit about the history of who and what and why the Thunderbirds are. But first, we had occasion to speak with one of the pilots, and here it is. Everybody, you're watching PTN, the Pocono Television Network. We're so happy to have you here. This is a great day in the Pocono Mountains. We're at the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton Airport, which is the temporary home of the Thunderbirds. We're even happier to have Major Oliver with us. Major, thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
What do you like the most about being with the Thunderbirds? I'm sure there's many things.
Sure, without a doubt, my favorite part about this job, executing our mission to recruit, retain, and inspire all across the country, is my ability to go share my passion with so many people. I wanted to fly airplanes since I was about yay high, and I saw Top Gun too many times and said I want to go be Tom Cruise.
So you look like him.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. So to now be able to share that with my friends and family has been really cool. I've got friends and family all across the country, so to be able to share that with them and let them see what I do on a daily basis. But the American public, so to be able to represent the United States Air Force, over 600,000 total force airmen all across the world, while we execute air shows all across the country is a real thrill.
One of the things I know, these are beautiful aircraft. Can you tell us a little bit about this, what you fly every day, day in and day out?
Yeah, this is basically a combat-ready F-16 with just a few modifications that we've made for the airshow circuit to include the smoke oil system and things like that. But other than that, it's a full-up combat-ready fighter. It's capable of speeds up to Mach 2, or about 1,600 miles per hour. The FAA won't let us go quite that fast during the airshow, so you'll see subsonic speeds, but right there up against the speed of sound during the airshow. And it's a really capable fighter and certainly represents the best of our frontline fighters in the Air Force.
Well, Major, thank you so much for being with us. And on behalf of the U.S. Air Force and the Pocono Television Network, this is what makes the United States of America great, is a gentleman like him. And all of you, of course. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Chris Barrett for the Pocono Television Network. Hope to see you soon. That Major Oliver was the gentleman and the officer who actually did the bird's eye view promo. So it was just happenstance that I got to really interview him. And the great thing about it is he is the creme de la creme of the Air Force. He came from a frontline fighter unit to be where he is right now. He was an amazing person, you know, from Ohio. Folks really proud of him. But now he's out really trying to recruit folks for the Air Force. And the Thunderbirds were actually established in 1953, and a lot of people think that they're doing stunts, but they're actually not doing stunts. They're doing aerial maneuvers, and they're quite rigorous. But the whole idea of showing that is to first pride in our nation, you know, pride in our military services. The United States air power in any service is incredibly powerful and makes the difference. But with the Air Force is on the front line. And these gentlemen are out there, and ladies, showing what they can do with a frontline aircraft, which is the F-16. And we were able to talk to him and find out just a little bit about who he was personally, which you just saw. But those are the types of folks that have been going around since 1953, showing what the Air Force can actually do. And it helps with recruiting. But they've really shown aerial maneuvers to hundreds of millions of people and introduced them to the U.S. military.
So that's the United States Air Force Thunderbirds for you. 3 other additional performers will be here today and again tomorrow when you come out. So tell us a little bit about those other acts.
That's right, Brandon. So in the back of us, we had some activity from the Super Chipmunk, and that gentleman, and these guys are really great too. First, Scott Francis with the MXS aircraft, and these two, the Super Chipmunk and the Scott Francis with the MXS aircraft. Those two aircraft are really designed for speed, for races, and for air shows. So they're picking up some of the aerial maneuvering you may see with the Thunderbirds and some others, and doing it right here. So it gives people, and it's with a prop, so it gives people just a little bit more of what that experience is broken down. And one of the last ones, really, which is really a favorite for me, is there's actually a Nakajima Zero and a Corsair, which will also be performing. And the cool thing is the Nakajima Zero is not one of the real Zero aircraft. There are no more of those type flying right now. They're airworthy. This is a facsimile. And then the Corsair would be 2 aircraft that you would have seen in the Pacific during World War II. And the Corsair was one of the big reasons why we won the war in the Pacific. At the beginning of the war in 1941, when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, the Zero was probably in the world one of the most premier fighter aircraft. And then we developed a succession of aircraft that really culminated with the Corsair and turned the tide of the war in the Pacific.
You're just a wealth of knowledge, Chris. Great history lesson.
I guess all those documentaries do come in handy sometimes. But the cool thing about it is, you know, a lot of these folks who are flying, first of all, they develop a love in flying for anyone. But secondarily, they want to keep the memory of the thousands and thousands of veterans that served in every war alive. And that's one of the things that happens here at these air shows.
Yeah, and we do want to say that this is a family-friendly event. If you take a look in the grandstands, you'll see people of every age, kids 3 years old, all the way up to people in their 80s and their 90s. This really is a family-friendly event. It's great to bring the kids out and they can take a look at the planes. It really is a magnificent experience. There's even a fanfare area, so there's a little carnival for the kids in the back of the grandstands. There's some food and vendors, merchandise vendors, live entertainment, and even some military vehicles are on display, so the kids can really take an up-close look and hands-on experience with some of those military vehicles. But like we were talking about earlier, Chris, this is also very highly attended by veterans for many of the reasons that you spoke about. A lot of veterans come here. It is a time for them to remember and reflect, and they love that kids and the younger generations are here learning about the history and what they went through.
So, Brianna, if somebody wants to buy tickets for tomorrow, what do they do?
So you can go on PoconoAirshow.com. We should point out that the shaded 300 level spots are completely sold out for today and tomorrow, Sunday, but don't worry, there is still availability, 200 level grandstand seating. So make sure to go on PoconoAirshow.com to take a look at the updated schedule, find out some more important information. Also, make sure you bring cash. Parking is $10, cash only, $20 for an RV, and you also will want to have cash on hand for the food and beverage merchants as well.
And what about our events in the Pocono Mountains happening after the air show?
Well, yeah, Chris, as you know, we have fairs and festivals happening in the
Right.
Pocono Mountains right now, even this weekend. West End Fair is one of them happening, so lots coming up in the Pocono Mountains and continuing into the fall. Fall is a beautiful time in the
Sure is.
Poconos.
It sure is. And it's one of the times that hopefully the weather's a little bit more moderate, but viewing the foliage here is amazing. And on our website at PoconoMountains.com, we'll have a foliage predictor coming up, so please make sure you get to PoconoMountains.com and check it out.
Yeah, so you can plan your trip around when the leaves will be at their peak color. That fall foliage forecast launches on September 9th. So a really great tool to help you plan your trip. But, you know, if you are coming out to the Poconos maybe for the first time, this weekend is a great time to come. Go on PoconoAirshow.com to get your tickets for tomorrow. Really seeing it in person. You're seeing it from your TV or from your smartphone right now, but this doesn't do it justice. You really have to see this in person. It is so moving.
That's really true, and we've been privileged to be around some of these folks for the last 2 days and get a really strong dose of it. We want you guys to do that too and come tomorrow. But I think before we leave, we have one more thing to show everybody, right?
We do, Chris.
So we're going to go to that right now. And for Brianna, I'm Chris Barrett for the Pocono Television Network. Thanks for being with us live.
We hope to see you here tomorrow. PTN, the Pocono Television Network, is everywhere you are. You can catch us on YouTube, Facebook, and some of your favorite streaming devices. Head to PoconoTelevision.com for more